Evening with Cora. This week I have a guest which I met, oh gosh, I can't remember how many years ago now, but I saw this fantastic artist, this woman, in an open mic setting in, I think it was South London, years and years ago, and I was absolutely glued. She's amazing. I was obsessed from then, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. So everyone at home, put your hands together for Nuala. Hello, darling.
Hello. Oh, that was a really sweet intro. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's all true.
What was the open mic?
I can't remember what it was called. It was upstairs.
Oh, I think I know now.
Yeah,
Upstairs at somewhere.
yeah,
It was called something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I can't remember. Maybe in
Yeah.
Clapham. Can't remember. But anyways, years ago, and it was amazing. So yeah, obsessed with you ever since. But who wouldn't be once they've heard you? So you, embarrassing you already. Bless you.
Okay, carry on. My cheek's going red. I can see it.
So we're here to talk about your music. I won't embarrass you too much. So you're based in North London. You said to me that just then you were from Leicestershire.
Yeah.
So how do you feel being in a big city after kind of growing up there?
So, I mean, I've got used to it now, but I might as well call myself a Londoner now. But I feel like I sometimes I go through like city centre and I'm like, I still can't quite believe it. I'm like, I can't believe I live in London,
Right.
which is a bit mad. But I mean, it was the place to be. It's the place to come to, because
Yeah.
like if you want to do music, if you want to pursue that, then it's the place to be. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely my home now. I wouldn't want to go back to
Lovely.
Shilton. Sorry, people from El Shilton, my family and that, but no, it's not for me.
Nice. How long have you been in London then?
Like 8 years now, 7, 8 years,
Hmm.
something like that. So a long time.
Were you
Yeah.
doing music in Melbourne?
Yes, I've done it my whole life. So like, you know, I don't know if it's cliche to say, but it's like, since the age of like 4, do you know what I mean? I've just like always sang.
Yeah.
And then I got into I think the first I did like a few performances at assembly and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember actually I was talking about this the other day because I remember the first time I got up in a no, it wasn't the first time, but I did a like Bring Me to Life by Evanescence.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that at my school assembly and I sang it and my friend Jade did the rap part. So she was like, wake me up. And I was like, wake me up inside. That was fun. And then I remember after that assembly, I had like this drummer, like this cool drummer, like guy came up to me and put his arm around me and was like, do you want to be in a band? And I was like, yeah. I was like 12, I was like, and then I joined my first band. And then we did like our first gig in Leicester at a venue called The Shed, and we did like rock covers and things. And then I started kind of learning piano, and then I started learning guitar, and then I probably started doing my own like solo gigs when I was like 15, 16 kind of thing, and then it just went on from there. And then I was just like, but I always knew I wanted to pursue it. I always knew I wanted to do
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that story. Were your family into music then?
Yeah, so my mum, like my mum and dad aren't together, but my mum, they were in bands before, like together. And my mum's, she sings, plays guitar, she's played clarinet. My dad's a drummer. So I always feel like I've got quite natural like rhythm. So like if you see me at a party and there's like a djembe or something, I'm always on the drum. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or if I see a drum kit, I'm like, yeah, get on the drums. And I've always said I think if I wasn't a singer-songwriter, I'd be a drummer. I'd be like some sort of percussion. So yeah, my dad does that and he's in like 3 bands at the minute. But it's all like but they do like not like they do cool jobs but like normal jobs, you know what I mean? Like they do it, so they do the music for hobbies and stuff. But yeah, even my grandparents like do music. And
Wow.
yeah, so from quite a musical family. I grew up with a lot of like mostly like rock music,
Yeah.
a lot of like like Led Zeppelin and Nirvana and Chili Peppers, and yeah, so a lot of that stuff. Mm.
And have you always been writing your own music, or is that like a recent thing in the last like 10 years?
So yeah, like I remember my first I started quite early. Like the first song I wrote, I was like 10, and it was after, so I lived in America from the age of 9 to 10. I went over there with my mum got a job to work at Harvard, which is a very big thing, like and yeah, went over there with me and my brother for 9 months, and I came back and I wrote a song called The US of A. And it was like my experience being in America and everything. So I remember that. And there was probably others around that time as well, but I've got like lyrics of them. So I remember that was around that time. So yeah, probably around the age of 10, I started playing the piano and stuff.
Amazing. And is your main instrument piano? Because I saw you play guitar, so.
Oh no, it's definitely guitar now. Like I realized quite quickly that, you know, guitar is more transportable. It's also kind of cooler and I don't know, I shouldn't say that really, but I'd love to get back into like playing more piano and stuff because it's really nice. But yeah, guitar's my instrument, my main instrument for sure.
Yeah. And do you mainly play just you and the guitar?
Yeah, it's been like that forever really, up until very recently. And actually start of like when all the whole pandemic came and everything happened with that, like start of last year, I actually got a band together and I planned to kind of do some gigs with them and everything. We had a gig booked and then everything lockdown, all that happened. So we've still not played together. And I was supposed to have a gig at the end of this month, 29th of June, and obviously that's been cancelled now because of like the fact that lockdown's been elongated. So hopefully it will happen. I've played with the drummer, like just us two, and like individually with the guitarist as well, but never like as a full thing. So yeah, so hopefully that will happen 27th of July if anyone's listening, at the Folklore in Hackney. So it's been rescheduled, so hopefully that does actually go ahead this time.
Yeah, a lot of my friends, most of them are musicians, and my other friend had a tour booked for the year that lockdown happened, and it all got cancelled. So heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the thing, when I start getting like upset about things, I'm like, oh, things keep getting hard, and I realize, but we're all in the same boat. Like this past year and a half, it's been ages, isn't it? And it's just like, you know, it's just people have been disappointed left, right, and center. So I think it's good to remind yourself of that when you start feeling like, oh, it's you that's being held back in your career, but actually it's everyone else's too, especially with any like creative industries. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been hard for all people involved in that area. So hopefully it'll get better.
Yeah.
We can all get back to what we want to be doing and being in front of the artists in person, because there's nothing like a live gig, is there?
Yeah. 100%.
Only do so much on technology.
Yeah, I've got to say though, I think like doing the live streams, like, because I've quite early on I decided, I've done a few live streams before, but I was like, I'm going to make it a weekly thing. So it's only recently that I've decided, okay, I'm going to make it like bi-weekly, and but like every week without fail I would do these live streams, and I kind of built up a really like a small but like really dedicated fan base and community more than anything actually, and they all interact with each other on there, and they're so like, yeah, they're really engaging, and they would come, a lot of them would come on without fail every single week. And I feel like being in that more relaxed space, like it started in my bedroom, then went up to that studio room, and it kind of feels like you're just like playing to friends and like talking to friends in a way. So it's actually, now that I've got back to gigging a little bit, I did a gig like last week, a Sofa Sounds gig, which was so good. I feel like it's put me in a more like relaxed space, and actually I think it's like really, I feel, because some people have been saying that because they're out of practice and like a live show is different to like a live stream, but actually like people want to see that like human like element to you and like that authenticity, which I think you can bring over a lot more, like, you know, when you're in a relaxed space in your house, right? And there's this whole idea of switching to when you're on stage, like you're the performer, like you're the star, but actually like bringing that more relaxed attitude even on stage is actually a really nice thing. I think especially with what I do, I think maybe not if you're like a Beyonce type with dance moves and stuff, maybe, but you know, but like, yeah, it's nice, and you feel like when you treat it in the same way, yeah, you're a lot more relaxed. So I think it's helped me a lot actually.
That's really great.
Yeah,
that's amazing actually. Yeah, and keeping you doing something every single week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, having that, exactly, because you can just get so easily just like not do anything. It was definitely good to have that as part of my routine.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Amazing. And let's go on to talk about your songwriting now. So I always like to ask like kind of where your influences are drawn from. So I mean, I don't like this question as an artist myself, actually.
Yeah, I hate it.
But I always ask it, and just because I'm so intrigued about how other people answer it.
Yeah. I love that you say you don't like it yourself, because what is it about that question? I think it's just 'cause it's so complex and like, you know, I mean, I guess like because I started listening to, like I say, I was brought up on like a lot of rock music.
Mm.
And I suppose like especially earlier on, like I just used to belt a lot, you know, and so that comes from like the big rock voices and stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, like inspired by a lot of like rock bands and stuff, like Nirvana, Chili Peppers are like probably one of my favorite bands.
Mm.
But then also as I got older, like a lot of like reggae, like old school reggae, like I was really that's and I think actually a lot of like the more like I've got I'm kind of more in like a going through a little like soulful phase at the minute with the way that I write. But
Yeah.
I always have this quite like rhythmic way to my write, like almost like slightly rappy, like to some
Mm.
of my the way that I write. And I think that might come from like the kind of reggae influence, which is
Mm.
quite like that and very offbeat, which I've always found is something as well. Like whenever I get with when I'm like with other musicians, um it takes a little minute because people think it's going to be on the beat, like when
Yeah.
you're doing the strumming, and it's always slightly off.
Yeah.
And I think that might be something as well that I've taken from, yeah, that those influences, and maybe also the fact that, like I was saying before, about kind of like being like naturally rhythmic and having my dad as a drummer and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, but then also like I don't know, like I suppose when I started getting into like Black Eyed Peas are also like my favorite, like one of my favorite bands,
Mm.
like the early stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like things
Yeah.
like that, and like yeah, and there's some decent pop music out there, you know, but loads of stuff. But I think sometimes if I was to say certain like actual artists and think or bands, and it's like totally, you know, like I like a lot of dance music as well, but I mean that doesn't really come into my how I write my music,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah,
I feel the same.
yeah.
That's why I don't like it, because it is so broad.
Yeah. Well, what's yours? You must have a stock answer now. You've asked so
I
many
don't
times.
actually, don't throw it
Oh,
back at me. But no, it is literally, I will listen to so many different genres and things like that to try and draw inspiration from.
yeah,
And one time I'll be listening to something poppy, and I'm like, got brought up in kind of rock and roll,
yeah,
rock music as well.
yeah,
And I'll listen to loads of that, and then suddenly I'll just go and listen to like some R&B and rap, and then
yeah,
something will just like nudge me into an
yeah,
idea that I had, and I just don't expect it.
yeah,
So it's, yeah, it can be from anywhere.
yeah. I think I need to learn to do that a little bit more as well, because I do get into funks sometimes where I like don't. I forget that I need to actually listen to music to get inspired sometimes,
Mhm.
you know, and it can really help just like listening to something new,
Yeah,
which I think you get into a routine of just listening to the same stuff sometimes, and that doesn't really help so much. So I do need to remember that.
yeah, totally.
Hmm.
Um, cool. I'm not going to carry on talking about me. We've only got half an hour to talk about you, so as much as the conversation could go on. Um, so I mean, you're sharing 2 songs with us today, which is great. You do have some songs on Spotify as well, which are amazing. I was listening to them earlier, and those were released on Spotify last year.
Yeah, like October last year. I released the first single in August actually, and then they kind of, yeah, EP in October.
Yeah, lovely. And that they're the first songs that you've put out there, are they?
Yeah, so yeah, like I've released other stuff, like and then taken it down, as I think we do, 'cause
Oh,
we get perfectionists. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, so I have released stuff, but not properly. I never released anything on Spotify before, but I had definitely put stuff out on like SoundCloud and things like that. But yeah, this is the first time that I actually know I did put something out on Spotify before as well, but then I took it down. But yeah, this isn't going to go anywhere. I'm keeping this up, and hopefully I won't like have a crazy moment where I'm like, no, I need to take down all my music
Yeah.
again.
No, please don't. They're amazing songs.
Thank you. Yeah.
You don't need to take them down. And the ones that you're sharing with us today, are they
Yes.
going to be part of a new EP or?
So I think Power, which I don't know which one is going to be on first, but that might be on the EP. I'm not sure yet because I have so many new ones at the minute.
Mm.
Um, yeah, these are very recent. This is why I thought I would do these ones. Power and Forget the Love. They're like songs that I wrote like literally a couple of months ago. So
Yeah.
I just thought when they're fresh, you feel like, oh yeah, you know, kind of it feels better to kind of put them out there and play them and stuff. But we'll see. I don't know yet.
Nice. And when you're starting to write songs, like where do you start? Do you usually start with music or the lyrics or a beat or?
Yeah, usually I'll just sit down with my guitar and strum some things and see where it goes. And or like actually earlier, I actually wrote a little thing. Thank God, because it's been a little while. Like, and I was like, yes, I've got an idea, and it was a lyric that came actually first, which doesn't usually happen, or it kind of happens like together a lot of the time. It's like you sit down, start strumming, doing something like a melody, and then like words will kind of form in like just kind of jargon really, and then you kind of piece it together, and it just happens. Yeah.
Like magic.
Yeah, sometimes, but as you probably know as well, it's like, you know, those magic moments where you actually get something amazing are few and far between. A lot of the time you have to really struggle to kind of get something that you think is half decent, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I often sometimes sit there for like hours and then get stuck and then throw it away.
Oh no, do you know, like this, that is something that I'm trying not to do so much, is like, even if you think it's rubbish, just like finish it.
Yeah.
Even if, because then once you've got it out of you, it's like that's out now and you can move on to the next one, and you might even come back to it and be like, it's not as bad as I thought it was, and actually grow to like it. Yeah. So I'm trying to like actually finish songs even if I don't think they're amazing now, because apparently that's a good thing to do.
Well, it's good advice. Maybe I should do it too.
Yeah.
See what comes out of it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, we're going to have a listen to the songs now, and then afterwards maybe we'll talk about a bit about what they are about.
Wicked.
Grand. Right, let's check out some Nuala.
Tired of falling through the cracks in my core just to try please you. I heard that record, it spoke to me, made me remember myself so honestly. Now I'm crying looking out of the window, 'cause I felt something in me. Where's the truth that I wore and I swallowed so proud and shamelessly? But I got too wrapped up in the idea and the possibilities that I forgot the reason why I even dream. I might just take back my power, I might just do it myself. Fuck all the voices in the towers, fuck thinking I need help. I gave a free pass to my ego, but now she's struggling. Thought she was getting close, got under my skin, but now I'm here. But now I'm here. But now I'm here. Clearly I needed this, needed relief. Tears on my guitar, was on my sheets. Now I'm singing like my heart's out of my chest, and I'm feeling like I should be right here. No mistakes, no confusion, no giving into the fear. And I'm stopping for a minute to breathe it in, open myself right up, 'cause this is the beginning of leaving who I'm not. I might just take back my power, I might just do it myself. Fuck all the voices in the towers, fuck thinking I need help. I gave a free pass to my ego, but now she's struggling. Thought she was getting close, got under my skin, but now I'm here. But now I'm here. But now I'm here. Ooh. just do it myself. Fuck all the voices in the towers. Fuck thinking I need help. I gave a free pass to my ego, but now she's struggling. Thought she was getting close, got under my skin, but now I'm here. But now I'm here. But now I'm here. Can't say things to you, 'cause you always bite back. Apparently I'm being rude, yeah, you always say that. I react like you, we cut from the same cloth. I get mad like you, guess we don't know how to stop. Oh, I love the conversation, I love when we're debating, but I don't love when we forget the love. Oh, I get that you can't take it. Maybe it's me that's crazy, but I can't trust neither one of us. Why is this such a pain? I just wanna tell you the good and the bad in my day without being talked down to. 'Cause I want nothing more than for you to be there. 'Cause our time is short and it's ours to share. Oh, I love the conversation, I love when we're debating, but I don't love when we forget the love. Oh, I get that you can't take it. Maybe it's me that's crazy, but I don't trust neither one of us. I just wanna be honest, but don't we both? We are on the same planet, and don't it show? And two alike we cause damage and watch it blow up in our faces, up in smoke. Oh, I love the conversation, I love when we're debating, but I don't love when we forget the love. Oh, I get that you can't take it. Maybe it's me that's crazy, but I don't trust neither one of us.
Thanks. It's a little ditty, that one.
Sorry?
It's like a little, I think that one's like a little ditty, you know what I mean, that one.
Little ditty.
Well,
just-
ditty.
Oh my god, the power is amazing.
Thank you.
No, I just it's in my head.
Yay! That's what I want. Thanks. Yeah, that is definitely the more. That's my favourite new one at the minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Forget the love is like kind of, but
Yeah.
power is like power. You know.
Yes. I couldn't have put it better myself, but
Yeah.
I think that song's going to be a banger once you've like produced it and put it all together.
Yeah. Maybe that is one I should do for the EP then, as a new one.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just felt like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's good. Thank you.
it was really great.
Yeah.
Go on, tell us what they're about then.
Yeah, Power, I literally wrote it a few months ago, and it was snowing, and I was sat on my bed just there and looking out the window, and it was very aesthetically pleasing with the snow falling and everything. But basically what it was is I've got a friend that she released like an acoustic EP, well, she produced it herself, and it was just her, and she did like other instruments and stuff, but it was quite like stripped back, and I really loved it, and it was so her and unique, and she did it all herself, and I just thought, you know what, like I've got the power to do that myself too, because I was getting like so frustrated with I don't know, like producers not getting me, or like feeling like I needed help. That was part of one of the lyrics in there, is like, you know, fuck thinking I need help, you know, because it's like with anyone, like, and it's funny because so basically I wrote that song, and I kind of was like, it kind of wrote itself actually, and I think it was just like, it felt like a bit of a weight off my shoulders, like this feeling of like, I'm always going to do music, I'm passionate about it, and it's always going to be, you know, and just kind of like letting myself like drop a lot of frustration of like not maybe like getting to do what I want to do and being where I want to be and everything. Yeah, and I like actually had a cry as I was writing it. Like I was very like emotionally in this song, which I think is like a rare thing to happen like that. But it was like good. It was like a weight off. It just felt like a weight off my shoulders. And I was crying as I was singing it. And it was like, which is why I think like I still get quite like, it's probably one of my it probably is like my most emotional song actually. But maybe because it's quite raw, because it's quite new as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. And then and then literally that same day I got like a new team contact me who I'm working with now, which was so bizarre. And I was thinking, I'm kind of going against what I'm writing about in this song, almost about like not needing anyone and everything. But it was almost as if like the stars had aligned to get to a point where like I'd met people that are literally like, we don't want you to be anyone other than yourself, like, you know, and not trying to be like, oh, we think we should go down this way and this way, and you should write this kind of thing, you should change this. Like, no, we love your songs, what they are, we love you, did it, you know. So it just felt like it felt like it just felt like the stars had aligned, and that song came out at a moment where I literally was just like, it was like this feeling of just like being very like content with myself and where I'm at that point, you know, which was, although it's quite an emotional like, but it is that feeling of like, yeah, like I'm good where I'm at, you know. It's good. So like it's quite hopeful in a sense too. So yeah, that was that. Forget the Love is very self-explanatory. I feel like not as emotional, but it is basically about like having continuous arguments with someone I like love and speak to a lot without naming who it is, but yeah, and always just kind of like getting each other wrong and misunderstanding each other, and like being the port of call of the person that I want to talk to, and that we offload onto each other, but sometimes like, but then always ending up in arguments and conflict and things. And it's like, so that's why it's like forget the love. It's like, I love debating, I love being myself around you and being able to just bounce off each other, but it always ends up in conflict because we're so alike and we're so, you know. Yeah, so that's like what that's about.
Oh, I just love them, and they're so true. Like that's what's like what I love in music anyway, is that it's so true and can be quite vulnerable and and things like that. So
yeah, I feel like actually that's why I think like music is so important to me anyway, like in terms of like being able to write and stuff, because I think it really like, well, it's a form of expression of course, but I think like it makes people like understand me. I feel like I can enable people to understand me a bit more. I feel, and I've actually had it a couple of times where like people, you know, like acquaintances and stuff who might then see me live, and I've had it a couple of times. I'll come on stage and people are like, oh, I feel like I just know you so much more now, you know, because of the way that I write, and the songs I write are very like, it's kind of like a diary entry more than like a piece of art. Do you know what I mean? I'm not poetic. I'm not like, I don't really use metaphors and things like that. I just kind of, you know, it's like a on the page type thing. So yeah.
I think that does make it more relatable though, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah. It depends what you're into, because obviously, because I've been in writing sessions and stuff with people where, you know, actually like it's not like that kind of way of writing isn't valued as much. It depends what you like, because, you know, there is a lot of like really clever like songs that are like poetic and beautiful, and do you know what I mean? But you can't really work out what it's about. It's very ambiguous. It's like really random, and that's got its place as well. But I struggle with that way of writing for sure. And yeah, I much prefer to listen to stuff that is very, you know, when you know exactly what the person is meaning to say in a song, you know, and that's when it gets you, doesn't it?
Yes. I love that too.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if you can tell the people out there who is watching, listening, where they can find you, follow you, find your music, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's Nuala's music. So Nualas music, because ages ago when I created it, the Nuala music was taken. So I have to always say it's Nuala's music with an S and then music. And that's on Instagram, Facebook. I don't really use Twitter, so it's no point with that. Yeah, I have a website as well, nualaofficial.com, but that just links you to everything else. And I'm on YouTube too. Yeah. And yeah, feel free to send me messages and things, because I always like having chats with people, and come on my live streams and come to my gigs and all that stuff.
Yes. All the links will be below for all you guys, so you can just go click on them as well, which is grand.
Good.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I only have one question left for you, because unfortunately we are towards the end of the time together. So the last question would be, just if you could give one piece of advice to anyone out there watching and listening, what would that be?
Definitely be as authentically yourself as possible. Yeah, just be yourself. It's the best way to be. Don't let anyone dim your shine, you know, because there will always be people out there that will love the real you and the true you. So, you know, so if people are trying to dim those sides of you, just fuck them people. And also I love the saying of if you aim for the moon, you'll fall beyond the stars. So I kind of live by that quite a lot in life too.
Yeah.
That's that.
Lovely. Lovely wise words from Nuala. And is your name, were you named Nuala, or is that that's such a lovely name?
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like my mum almost knew that I was going to do music. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I'll give her an interesting name. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know what it means?
So it's supposed to be Nuala. The actual name, the spelling is supposed to be Nuala, which is an Irish name, but my mum got the pronunciation wrong. She just read it in a baby name book and thought, oh, Nuala, that's really nice. But it actually, Nuala means lovely shoulders or fair shoulders.
Oh, show us your shoulders.
No, what do you think? Do I have some good shoulders on me?
There's some good shoulders.
Thanks.
Brilliant.
Wicked, there you go.
Thank
you so much for having me.
Of course. So thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you and hearing your songs that have not been out there yet. So that's really exciting. So I can't wait to hear more from you. And maybe when your EP's out, we can get you back on.
That'd be wicked. I'd love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Catch you next. Oh, how lovely is she? Don't you just love her already? I bet you do. Go and follow her. Go show her lots of love. Go stream her music. All of these things. You've got an open invitation to send her a message. Go have a chat with her. She's super lovely. So thank you again for being with us this week and watching and listening. I have a quote for you, as usual. So this one, I saw it earlier, and it was the first one I laid my eyes on. I was like, that's the one. It doesn't usually happen like that. I'll usually read a few and then be like, no. So this is the one that wanted to come through today. So one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. Actually listening. How many times have you listened to someone but actually not really listened to them? You know, when you're having a chat and then you're just kind of waiting for something that makes sense to you to reply to that person. Or you might just be like, but you're not actually, your mind is like talking about to yourself about what you're going to have for dinner. So actually, and that's a normal human thing, by the way, that's okay to accept that you do that. But to be able to be more present with someone, to actually listen to them, wow, that's amazing. So I challenge you to try that for yourself and actually listen to people and see how that changes your conversations. Anyway, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Have a lovely week, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.